Hello, and welcome, my friends, to the Arena Decathlon Finals. I am sorry I didn't record any of my Decathlon events when I was doing it. There was a lot of school stuff, so I wasn't able to do it while recording. Throughout the event, I was able to get 9 out of the 10 wins, but I missed the last on the edge event. Feels really bad. But I am here with you today to do some Decathlon Finals qualification. I have 2 tokens, so this will be the first video, and I'll do one more if I don't reach 4. But I think you can get multiple wins, so it'll probably be multiple good videos. So, if you enjoy the content, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. And without further ado, let's jump into our sealed. So, one thing to note about our sealed pool is that I believe everyone has the exact same sealed pool, so basically it's just going to be a lot of building around what everyone has. Coma, Ox. I'm sorry, did it say 76 more rares? How many rares did we get exactly? Let's see. This is a lot of stuff. So I'm assuming that this is like a cube style thing where they basically just give you a bunch of stuff and then they say have at it. They give you mana fixing. Yeah, they've given you all of the slow lands and the check lands. And all the Triumphs, Fabled Passage. Some fun artifact stuff, and then you just have to try and build the best deck. So, let's see. Rise and Shine, I think, is the only Rise and Shine, Crypt Breaker. Well, they're pretty bad. Ascendant Pack Leader. Chitter Spitter. Green looks to be having the most rares, but also the most medium rares, like Chatterfang, Chitter Spitter. And then Vivian you can only play in mono green. Feathers, fun if you can have enough target creature stuff. Dromcom, Coma. Okay. What are our commons and what are our uncommons? Actually, our commons and uncommons are relatively low count. The top ones are like Expressive Iteration, Dorat, Blood Tithe, Winding, Conclave, 10th District, Rip Apart, Binding. Cold Steel Heart we're probably just going to play, and this is just a super good card. Battle-wise, Hoplet, I guess there's like a heroic sub-theme in this sealed pool. There's a token theme with the Combine Chrysalis and Wave Sifter. Yeah, there's Ensoul Artifact, Fading Hope, Hard Evidence, Slip Out, Junk Winder, Storm Chaser. I would love to try the heroic thing, but it might be a bit too hard. So I want to look at the heroic deck real quick. Defiant Strike, Hoplite, God's Willing, Homestead. Elite Spellbinder just is a good card. You would be playing blue, Fading Hope, Negate, Storm Chaser, Slip Out. If you are playing blue, that is. Red has Reckless Rage, Bolt, Dreadhorde, Teamer, Flames, Krenko. And then in your rare slot, you have Battle-Wise Hoplite, Deputy of Detention, Electrolyze. Sorry. Dora, EI. Rip Apart, 10th District, and Feather. Like, this is a very low to the ground curve, so I don't hate it. Very aggressive. Don't even want to run the Cold Steel Heart. I don't hate this strategy. One problem is the 3 colors, even though we have pretty good mana fixing. Feather requires white, or white, red. Play these lands. Not sure if you should bling the triomes. But this would be what the deck's about looks like if we tried to do this. I don't hate it. Okay, we'll pass it as well. I don't hate it. But I want to check out a specific other deck that I was looking at. The +1/+1 counter deck. Or actually, before we do that, let's look at the token deck. Junkwinder, Whirler Rogue, Aether Channeler. There's also a Random and Soul artifact style strategy running around as well. Fading Hope for interaction. Memory. Shark Typhoon. Dread Horde. Actually, black doesn't really have too much in the ways of tokens. Like, Dark Salvation is fine. So there's like a removal spell that creeps an army, although it's really expensive. But you'd probably want to be like, what's the other color for tokens? Doesn't look like white for once. White, black seems more like Reanimator with Cruelty of Gix, Late to Dinner, but Blood for Bones, Priest of Fellrites. What is the blue token strategy? Yeah, green, blue, that's what it was. Let's look at our green real quick. We've got Chitter Spitter, Gear Hulk, Titan, Tireless, Token Generator, Token, Ramp, Rishkar, Skoos. Cold Steel Heart. Do we want to run Cityscape Leveler? It's just a ramp thing. It's Courier's Briefcase. You've got 1 ramp, 2 ramp, 3 ramp, 4 ramp, 5 ramp. And then just run some top end stuff. I don't think I need Cityscape Leveler. But yeah, this would be the tokens deck if I wanted to try and do that. Could run Negate, Essence Scatter, stuff like that, especially with the super high power level in this cube. I kind of want to just try out the Heroics deck, see how that runs. But the 3 color requirement. What other strategies are there? We could do +1/+1 encounters with like Whining Constrictor and Conclave Mentor. Let's throw those cards in. See what the deck would look like if it was counters, synergies. We've got Rishkar, Skoos, Ranger Class, Golly Reader, Paradise Druid, Inscription, Gear Hulk, Tireless Tracker just because it's good. Drana. Actually, Drana's like pretty much the only thing in black for +1/+ encounters. So it'd be like Splashing Whining Constrictor, I guess. And in white, you've got like Feat of Resistance, Homestead Courage. Yeah, not much support actually. Back to the drawing board with the counters deck. Yeah, so I think that probably your best bet would be trying to go for a heroic deck, surprisingly enough. I thought it was like a joke thing, to be completely honest. But it looks like it's actually something you should be doing in this. Well, time to throw in the stuff. Jeskai Heroic, it looks like to be what I'm going to try and do. DI, Battlewise Hoplite, Deputy. Ooh, red, black, white. Mardu might actually be the Reanimator because we've got Dracoseth in those colors. But, yeah. Teamer Battle Rage, Bolt. Seasoned Pyromancer. Cranko, Flames if we want that. Flame seems pretty medium. If we want to cut that, we can. Negate, Storm Chaser, Midnight, Aether. None of these. Defiant Strike, Sentinel. Elite Spellbinder is even playable. Anything else you want to play? Oh, yeah, these two, of course. Play the 2 mana. And I think that is all from our card pool. Wait, let's grab some mana first. Especially the Jeskai land. Not sure if we want the rest of the Triomes, but we'll see. So, what are our cuts? Elite Spellbinder is just a fine card. Flames of the Firebrand's pretty medium. A sorcery speed removal spell that if you have like a heroic thing, you can target one of the damage to that to trigger a heroic. Or it can just be 3 mana, trigger heroic 3 times. Which is not terrible. Probably cut Midnight Clock, we're not that slow. Esper Sentinel. Like, our creatures are, let's see, creatures are actually pretty decent. Cranko we can probably cut, actually, since we don't really need that. Pyromancer's just good card draw. Deputy's just good removal. Like, what's our removal package? Reckless Rage, Rip Apart, Electrolyze, Flames, Valorous, Pyre, Bolt, Fading Hope. Pretty good removal pile, to say the least. Negate as well. I don't actually think we can hold up Negate very easily in this deck. We'd love to, but I don't think we can. We'd rather be casting stuff during combat. So, what do we cut then? Esper Sentinel? If other decks are going to be like this, Esper Sentinel will be great as a taxation effect. Similar to Thalia, unless they want to give us cards, which no one ever does. Cathartic Pyre's a fine removal spell, 3 damage. Do I want to cut it, though? I mean, Rip Apart just has a bit more utility, even though it's at sorcery speed. Now let's cut the Cathartic Pyre. Then I cut probably Esper Sentinel. Like, we already have a really good amount of heroic targets. Favored Hoplite, Virtuoso, Storm Chaser, Battle Wise, 10th District. We don't really need kind of a sad version of it. Let's put this real quick. Aether Channeler we can cut. Pretty medium to say the least. What else do we care about? Or not care about, really. We're gonna cut a land, that's for sure. Especially with... Actually, we might want to cut 2 lands, just for the fact that our curve is 3 and below. So we might just not care about hitting, like, land number 4. Which I am honestly down with if we want to try and cut 2 lands, run it like that. I know the comps are going to yell at me, but you should... Max is running 16 lands. No, I've been insane enough to even run 14 lands before. It has worked wonders. It might be a bit risky, but it could end up doing super well in this. And, like, the only card advantage... I mean, I guess our card advantages are Storm Chaser Drake, Dread Horde, Feather, Seasoned Pyromancer... XEI. Okay, maybe 16 lands is the way to go. I mean, Then cut probably Flames of the Firebrand as the top end. Just, it's pretty sad even if it can possibly trigger Heroic 3 times. And then we cut a land. Run it like this. I like it. Well, this is the final version of the deck. If you guys want to check it out, you can. Pause it if you like. But if you enjoy the content, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. It means a lot. And without further ado, let's jump into the game and see how the deck does. This hand doesn't really have a creature, but it has a removal spell that cantrips, so we'll try it. Oh, there's a Spellbinder. Looks like they're on the Reanimator package. 4 counters? Interesting. I tried to avoid this deck for obvious flaws, but see how they do it. Drana, Liberator of Malakir. Yeah, it's gonna be a pain. But luckily, Valor's Chance should be able to deal with it. Play a land into Sizzle Lamentor. Once it deals damage, we can kill it with Stance. So hopefully we draw like a Dorat or something. Bossery's Lieutenant. Oh, I guess I did miss that one. Ooh. Now do we kill the Lieutenant? Or... I think we have to kill Drana since it's getting a little too big. Actually, I have a different idea. Elite Spellbinder. Let's see what they're working with. Vivian, they're nowhere close to casting. Tireless Tracker. Yeah, Tireless Tracker is the only thing they can actually cast at the moment. If they draw a green source, Ulvenwald Oddity is probably the scariest. But we'll just take that for now. And if they swing in with Lieutenant, we can Defiant Strike now, so we also get to finish off our cantrip while being able to kill this Lieutenant. And that means that Drawn is free to be Valor's Stance without having to fear a token. So let's see, what could they have? They could have Winding Constrictor, Binding the Old Gods, block here, and Defiant Strike. Favored Hoplite, that's what we're looking for. Just a heroic creature. Oh, I forgot Drana's trigger. Yikes, that's not good. Ranger class. Well, we have this. That's a start. This will be able to take the brunt of the damage. We'll just pass here. Hold up my interaction. If they just level up Ranger class, I am all cool with that. Where are you putting the counter? Drana? Let's destroy you real quick. Create your 2/2, sure. But now we get to eat the wolf this time, and we make sure we're not just gonna get a random counter out of it and be sad. Prot green, doesn't really matter. Scryland's at the bottom. Yeah, these lands are not looking good in my hand. I knew 15 lands was the correct thing to do. With a bunch of cantrips and stuff, it definitely would have preferred 15 lands. Okay, so next time in deck building, 15. Bossery's Lieutenant's probably just going to be the biggest problem. Can we kill it? No, it's just going to be slipped out the back and then phased out. Just use a protection spell. Save me a bit of life. Obliterating Bolt. That kills the knights, but doesn't do much. Turns us into a 3/3 though, which is able to block the lieutenant. Yeah, we'll discard the Obliterating Bolt. Let's just hope that they don't find another land anytime soon. Just keep leveling up that ranger class, buddy. Fading Hope. That is a perfect draw to see. Let's bounce you back to hand. Reset that. God's Willing. Interesting. And then play a Fabled Passage to lessen the land count, although I don't think that one matters too much. We want cards in hand for Illuminator Virtuoso, but if we draw Seasoned Pyromancer, we don't want lands on hand, so... They take a look at my hand. Sadly, there is nothing. Basically, they're just waiting until they find another land, and a Reckless Rage is just what I wanted to see. Let's just kill this now, to be completely honest. And I've Seasoned Pyromancer. That is the perfect draw. That'll get us right into this game again. Dreadhorde Arcanist allows us to cast Fading Hope, God's Willing, Reckless Rage, all of that fun stuff. And they still haven't found another land. That's great. So, if we're going to cast Fading Hope the graveyard, that means we're going to bounce the Bossry's Lieutenant. So that way, they're just going to trade here. We trade Esper Sentinel. Swing with everything. Arcanist. Fading Hope. Made sure not to misclick there. I'll pay. And then now they got some blocking to do. They chump block the 6 damage and trade with the 2/2. I am fine with this. We get to keep our Dreadhorde Arcanist around, which means more card advantage. Get to keep casting God's Willings, Reckless Rages, slip out the back. Bossry's Lieutenant puts a counter on itself. We have a way to deal with that at the moment. Valor Stance won't do it, but Reckless Rage means that they can't block so easily. Sure, we'll do Reckless Rage. Defiant Strike is also has an argument. But we'll go with Reckless Rage here. EI, that's a good draw. Okay, so after a punt game, or early in the game, we're managing to close things out. Let's grab Feather into my hand, right? Yeah, Feather into hand. Put you on the bottom and you into exile. Cast Feather. And cast Homestead Courage. Return Homestead back to hand. And I think that might be Just what we needed. So now they need a removal spell and a way to give this +2/+2 to win. Homestead Courage. That's one way to give +2/+2. Now they need to kill Feather. Wait. I forgot the protection from multicolored! Oh, I mean, I couldn't have played around that anyway. Ah, that feels bad. Okay, so we're 100% cutting a land. Let's see. Probably cut red land. What's our red? Yeah, red land next. And then throw in against a +1/+1 counters deck. Their biggest thing is their creatures, so we want Essence Scatter. And ways to bounce them, so Aether Channeler looking good. Anything from red. Killing the creatures is the best thing we can do, so Cathartic Pyre. Anything else? What don't we want? Do you want Cast Out? Like, it's a good removal spell if things get too big. Or are cheap removal spells to deal with. But we're just going to pray that that doesn't get there. So, cut you. Cut the Teamer Battle Rage, and... Deputy? No. Let's cut Elite Spellbinder. That one's been less than impressive against this. Even though it did... never mind. Elite Spellbinder basically had them discard their card. Just they couldn't play that for the rest of the game. This hand's missing blue. I think we have to mulligan, especially with 4 lands. A bit better, considering the fact that it's less lands. We'll keep in bottom the Battle-Wise Hoplite. Bottoming the Battle-Wise just because Aether Channeler replaces itself and just more reliable. While that one requires having targets, and we already have 1 heroic creature, so no need for a second. Winding Constrictor, you look like you need to be cathartically tired. Land, Virtuoso, swing. Now we need to find like a Defiant Strike or something. Drana, good Obliterating Bolt target. So they can't keep a creature on board, they can't get counters. No counters, no, nothing they can do. Ulvenwald Oddity, sure. Blue Source, perfect. Aether Channeler, and let's just bounce it, even though it has haste. It forces them to recast it, spending their entire turn to do so. And we're just slowly tempoing them out of the game. And Seasoned Pyromancer as the last card is really good. Recast the Oddity, into Homestead Courage. Vigilance, though, that's not good. Land into Pyro. Reckless Rage. What do they think of this? Because they know this is super suspicious. If they block the favored Hoplite, we can Reckless Rage and kill it. And the Hoplite also survives combat. If they targeted the Virtuoso, same thing. We deal the damage to the Hoplite, and then Illuminate or Virtuoso would kill first strike damage. So, either way they set that up, we would have won. Ooh, Gear Hulk, 8/8. Scary. Let's cycle this Triome. Deputy of Detention. What an amazing draw. And that should be lethal. Good tempo game. Okay, so let's just do exactly what we did again. Do we have any more creatures that are removal spells? Or ways to be removal spells? Let's see. Bray's Apprentice, Team Battle Rage. The Elder Dragon War. I don't think that's fast enough. You know what? Maybe we should be like having a transforming sideboard that basically can deal with whatever we need to. And just have a bunch of pre-made decks at the ready. Honestly, that's not a bad strategy. I'll do that for next time. For now, I'm just getting a feel of the format. Seeing what we're working with. Okay, they're on the play this time, so hopefully we can defeat them. Easy keep. We've got 10th District Legionnaire. And that's a red source. That is nice to see. Let's play the Clifftop Retreat. And hope if they don't have a removal spell, 10th District Legionnaire is just going to be our way to victory. No Winding Constrictor or anything, please. Skyclave Shade. I am super happy with that. 10th District and swing. Sure thing. They swing for 3. Their own Virtuoso. Interesting. Sadly, that will get killed. I mean, not sadly for me, sadly for them. But first, let's draw a card. Slip out the back. I like having a protection spell at the ready, so we'll keep that. Do we want to Reckless Rage the Virtuoso? It's Homestead Courage. Aether Channeler, okay. So now that we have, like, more removal spells, I think we can just kill this now. And now we have a 7/6 on turn 4. Well, 6/6, really, but pretty big. Has to be, like, Binding the Old Gods. Or Valor Stanced. Conclave Mentor. We can actually see nearly all of the cards that they could possibly have by just checking our sideboard. Like, removal spells are Taste of Death. D-Spark doesn't hit. Mire Triton, we can get around with Indestructible. Heartless Act doesn't work. Binding the Old Gods and Cast Out are the only 2 ways they can do it, which is at 4 mana. Not sure why they attack there. But I am A-okay with it either way. Anyway, Homestead Courage, bottom land. Swing. They basically have to chump block here. And then we'll just play a Favored Hoplite and pass the turn. Now we hold up Slip out the back in case they have one of those 2 removal spells. Are there any others? Well, obviously not, because they concede. Good games. Okay, so Jeskai tempo, pretty decent. I like the 15 land version, though, especially with such a low curve. So let's go into deck editing. Cut a mountain. Did I say mountain? Yeah, cut a mountain. For Aether Channeler. And then Cathartic Pyre. I thought we brought in just a good removal spell. Not sure if we want to run that over, like, what is it? Teamer Battle Rage or an Elite Spellbinder. Yeah, I think we'll run it like this. Just having the information gain round 1 with Elite Spellbinder is also pretty good. So, first win, we get some cool lands. Let's see what our next wins have in store. This hand looks pretty good. We will keep. Turn 2 Battle-Wise Hoplite into turn 3 Electrolyze. Shoot the Hoplite and something of theirs. Maybe like a 1/1 or something. How many 1/1s are actually in this set? Or X1s, really? Skyclave Shade, Crypt Breaker, Gallagher Eaters, Ascendant Pack Leaders, Skyclave Shade, Paradise Druid if it's tapped, Mire Triton. Surprisingly, a lot of 1/1s. Okay, let's see what we're up against. They play Sulphur Falls, meaning it's probably gonna be Jeskai as well. Jeskai Heroic, just as expected. Well, the way to deal with this is just to kill their creatures, but because we don't have a removal spell just yet, we'll just play Battlewise Hoplite. We still need another white or red source for Rip Apart to do anything. Is this Reckless Rage? Reckless Rage, yep. So they probably built their deck very similar to mine. Homestead Courage, yeah. Now it's out of range too, which feels really bad. So we're just gonna have to Fading Hope it, basically. I don't believe there are any haste givers in this set, right? Failed Passage is a good draw. We're not running any haste givers, nor does it look like there are any over here, so that's good. Fabled Passage. Crack it for a red source while we can. Just though I don't hold up anything. Red source. Put a stop on their upkeep. Just in case if they do have God's Willing, that means they have to use their mana during their turn. And God's Willing are basically the only card that they could have to protect against a Fading Hope. There it is, God's Willing. Well, that cost them 1 mana. And then they recast Reckless Rage from the graveyard. Storm Chaser Drake, that looks like a really good card for me to Electro Sizzle. Electrolyze. I don't know why I always call it Electro Sizzle. Looks just like sizzling. The Reckless Rage. This is the power of Dreadhorde Arcanist. But Deputy of Detention's a good draw. I think what we want to do is actually exile the Dreadhorde, so if they have any more instant sorceries in their hand, they can't get any much more value out of that by just recasting them. Removes the counters, and then Storm Chaser Drakes are their only threat left, which we can electrolyze, or Repart if they get a counter on it. We just want to play a little more grindy against them. Deputy Detention, Deputy Detention. Okay, how do you want to play this? We can EI, try and hit a red or white source, get back, and then blow up the Deputy. I'd like trying that. There's our red or white source, so we'll put that into exile. And we'll put the Arcanist into our hand. You on the bottom, you into exile. Cast or apart, deal 3 damage to the Deputy. Get back our Deputy, and we don't actually care too much about God's Willing, but I think just keeping the Dreadhorde under wraps is the best idea, especially when we have a removal spell in hand for Storm Chaser. Teamer, Battle Rage. Sure. Double Strike. Into Defiant Strike? Yep, Defiant. Yeah, Storm Chaser Drake doing work. Savai Trial. Well, we're getting a little low, which I don't like. But we'll just electrolyze. They have no mana to protect. And then we can play our own Arcanist. Swing for 1, and pass the turn. Their version is very similar to ours, except they're mana based on they're running Savai Triomes. I find them just too slow because we're so aggressive and have such a low curve. But they might be having a higher curve, so who knows. Play Battle Wise Hoplite, and we find a feather. That is great. Cast Fading Hope. Bounce the Hoplite back to hand. Scry 1. Aether Channeler, I like to see. Just being able to keep bouncing stuff. Sure thing. Pass the turn. They just recast Battle-Wise Hoplite, and end of turn, we slip out the back Dreadhorde Arcanist, giving it an extra counter so it can cast more things from the graveyard. Which means now we can cast Expressive Iteration and other stuff. Let's move to combat, swing, cast, rip apart, deal 3 damage. Aether Channeler, create a 1/1 into Pyromancer. And then pass the turn. Because we can't hold up, slip out. So, how can you win this? You can't. Good game, opponent. I guess we want to reveal as little as possible, so Storm Chaser Drake, you on the bottom, and then reveal a land. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I just want to make sure it's lethal. Good game. So, that is round 1 against these on the draw, too. So, how do you want to deal with Heroic? Removal is probably just the #1 way to do this. Grab Cathartic Pyre. Do you want to run Cast Out? Or Essence Scatter? I don't think we have time to hold up Essence Scatter, so just cut Spellbinder. Run it like this. One more removal spell. Whew. First try. Let's see us get 4 wins with this Jeskai pile of stuff. Okay, this time we're going to be on the draw again, but we won last time. What's going to stop us this time? We just gotta we'll have well-timed removal spells. This has a removal spell in hand, but it doesn't do much otherwise. I mean, Illuminator Virtuoso is kind of our win condition here. I think we have to mulligan it. Ugh, yikes. Hard mulligan. This is better. Let's bottom land. Let's bottom 2 lands. And let's run it like this. Fabled Passage, crack, and a pass. Find a blue source. I kept the Clifftop Retreat just to make sure we have all of the colors of mana versus having an untapped land. We play a Sulphur Falls. Perfect, just what we wanted to see. Feather. Back to the hand with Yi. And we also get to scry 1 closer to our land. That's EI. Perfect. Let's put you in hand. Plains on the bottom and mountain. Actually, maybe I should have grabbed plains since we have a mountain in hand, but oh well. This helps with Seasoned Pyromancer. Ooh, now I might have protection spells. I have to be careful about that. Let's bolt this. Slip out the back. Yeah, I think I can just concede here. Maybe I shouldn't have killed Feather there, or bounced Feather and just killed it while I could. But yeah, them just having permanent protection for Feather makes it gonna be impossible for me to kill it. Okay, so just bad playing on my part. Let's run it back, this time on the play. We'll have the strict advantage. On the play, of course, we will keep this hand. We've got a removal spell, we've got all of our colors, we've got a creature. Play a land and pass the turn. Dorat, the perfect pet. Let's play that. Sure, it could be killed by a removal spell, but I think them taking their turn to kill it is probably better. Ooh, they don't have removal. That is good for us. And instead of EEIing, let's just play Dreadhorde Arcanist and make sure to hold up God's Willing. But first, they might have Defiant Strike that they might want to just cantrip, or God's Willing, which is why they're holding up priority. Because I don't believe there are any 1-mana removal spells in this set. For red, white, or even black. 10th District Legionnaire. If they swing, we'll take the block, and if they have like a spell or something, that just makes it so Obliterating Bolt will work next turn. But they do not attack. Very disappointing. Ooh, is this Reckless Rage? Let's put Rip Apart into hand, 10th District on the bottom, and Defiant Strike into exile. Play a land, cast Defiant Strike on Arcanist so it can attack. That also lets us cast EI, although I don't think that's very helpful in this situation. We'll just probably cast another Defiant Strike instead of EI. Actually, EI still draws a card, so let's do that. Plus, it has a chance to reveal something that could be helpful in combat. That makes it harder for them to do stuff. Hoplite looks good. Let's put the Pyre. Yeah, let's put the Pyre in hand. You on the bottom, and you into exile. And do we want to go Shields down with God's Willing? If they have Reckless Rage, it's bad. You know what? I'm just going to play it safe. Plus, it's pretty threatening to them not casting a spell that we could have. This is just a big pile of removal, removal, removal. And with our threat slowly growing bigger, I think this is fine. Obliterating Bolt. There are no 5 damage spells in this set, so casting a God's Willing means that Dorat gets out of range. Ooh, but they do have Reckless Rage. Luckily, Dorat still lives, though, so I'm fine with this. Ooh, they have Fading Hope. Dang, that resets Dorat. That's not good. But on the other hand, 10th District Legionnaire is now easily killable. So, let's just kill him. Sorry, 10th District Legionnaire, but your time on this earth will be short. And now we just have a pile of removal spells, a Dora, and a Storm Chaser Drake. So all in all, I think this ends up pretty good for us. And they just pass. for 2. We'll play a Drake. And we'll pass. Esper Sentinel. Sure thing. I don't care about you. And let's cycle our Rogren Triumph. Still holding up blue mana for Slip Out the Back specifically. Move to combat and swing. I'm in no rush. We're at 17. They're about to be at 4. Let's just play it safe. No reason to let down our shields when we're already smacking them across the face every turn. Sure. You can do your thing. Discard a Slip Out the Back. Feather. But not holding up mana. Let's Reckless Rage. I will pay. And that looks like game. GG's, my man. That was hard-fought game, but ended up winning against the mirror match. On to game number 2, or 3. But here, our prize is Phage the Untouchable avatar and 4 draft tokens. Now, just 2 more wins. On to the next game. This hand is missing blue, but I think it'll be fine. We'll try it. We've got Tenter's Legionnaire, Virtuoso, we've got a removal and slash protection spell. Play the pass. Play the pass and pass, and they might be the plus one plus counters deck. Swing in. Maybe we should be just running Cathartic Pyre over the our Elite Spellbinder, just because it seems to be more useful. Ooh, Chatterfang. Well, I think we know where you're going. Back to the hand. Pyromancer's pretty good. But I don't think we want it right now. Sorry, Pyromancer. And then just play a Virtuoso. We'd much rather have like a Defiant Strike or something. Something to target one of our creatures to trigger our heroic. They play Crypt Breaker. Enter Mr. Chats. And of course, we will return the favor by returning it. Just keep tempoing them, see as much damage as we can do before we have to get in with our flyers. So they play Scoos into Chatterfang again. Perfect draw. Storm Chaser. Rip Apart. Maybe we shouldn't have played Storm Chaser. That would have led us to be able to attack. But I think still attacking is actually fine here. Like, we're willing to trade any of these for Scoos, because that's just going to be able to outsize our stuff eventually. They don't take the block, which I am all for, considering that they are now at 6. And they just pass. Well, we have Valorous Stance to protect our stuff, so I'm not afraid of a removal spell. So we will just Deputy of Detention their Scoos. Exile Chatterfang. Cycle and Dantha. Anything else, buddy? Nope. Let's see. This is 6 damage across the board. And if they don't block Illuminator, it's possible. There's a tiny chance of them just being dead right now. Sure, you created 2/2. They have to block Virtuoso, otherwise there's a chance that they just die. which I think we go for right now. Just because they have so much mana. If we just draw and discard a spell, yeah, that means they're dead. Good game. On to game number 2 with some fast aggro. So we didn't get to see much, but I think they might be running the plus encounters reanimator kind of strategy. What to watch out for? Binding is their main removal spell. How do you want to play against this? I don't think cheap removal is actually the greatest in this case. Like, we've seen Chatterfang and Skoos, but that was basically it. I think we just run it back since we didn't get to see much of their deck or how it plays. Run it back. Alright. We're on the draw this time, so a little of a downside, but one can dream. We've beaten people in the draw before, we can do it again. We will keep this hand. Looks pretty good. Fabled Passage for a red source and pass. Let's crack it now, not to hold up priority. Don't be a butt. So, what's our first play, though? 10th District or Virtuoso? I kind of like playing Virtuoso here. Especially now that we can't attack because of the Constrictor. But very disappointing that we don't have a removal spell for this right now. Okay, so they're more plus encounters than I thought they were. I thought they were more on the Reanimator package, because yikes, this is bad. No está bueno. We'll just pass. Hold up Feet of Resistance to trade with Rishkar. And if they don't attack, paying 3 mana basically for a fog effect, I am fine with. Ooh. Oh no. Oh, no. This is what happens when you don't know what they're doing. So. Their creature is super big now. And all we can do is cry. Valorous Stance. That's perfect. Discard Pyromancer. Choose green. Cast EI. Teamer Battle Rage. We're gonna win this. Teamer Battle Rage is probably just gonna be a surprise kill that we need. So, play land. Pass the turn. Depending on their attacks, we could just Valor Stance, get counters on Virtuoso, and eat something. But yeah, board is looking very scary. Vivian. Ay.
Close your eyes and listen to the sounds of the wild.
Luckily, Valor Stance gives us the indestructible mode. But do we even... We'd rather just kill the Gearhulk, actually. Just kill the Gearhulk, can't deal damage, and now they have to hold back their Whining Constrictor, otherwise Vivian dies. Not that they know it's dead anyway. Oh, they don't hold back. Very aggressive. Crit Breaker, that's why. Okay then. Well, we will play Storm Chaser Drake and electrolyze these. Draw an Arcanist, that is really good. And I think we have to start attacking here. can chump block with our Drake. If they have a removal spell, we lose, but I think at this point we have to take risks and start trying to win some way, but that's another way we lose. Ulvenwald, Oddity. Good game. Okay, so now that we know more of what they're doing, we're bringing in the Rip Apart. Or Cathartic Fire, not Rip Apart. Bring in Cast Out. And then what do we cut? Teamer Battle Rage and Spellbinder. Run like this. Anything else we can do against this? Plus encounter strategy? I don't think so. Run it like this. And hopefully this will be good enough. Alright, opponent. Now that I know what more you're doing, let's see if I can beat you in time. On the play, of course. And we'll keep. Dread Horde Arc. We're missing blue and double red. But I think that's fine considering we have Arcanist and Reckless Rage. Just being able to kill 2 spells, this feels like, what's it? This feels like Explorer Heroic all over again. Winding Constrictor. Heartless Act. Red Source? Virtuoso, good enough. We've got Feat of Resistance and Reckless Rage, although neither of those do much here. They played a land, let's see. Do you want to trade 10th District? I think we do. Especially with the low mana that we're getting right now. Plus, their big stuff are pretty big, so getting the 2 extra damage feels really good. Fabled, a Passage. Hopefully we find a blue source soon for Deputy. Or a red source into a blue source for Seasoned Pyro. But until then, Feat of Resistance and Reckless Rage are both castable. Are they just passing? Interesting. Well, we found our next red source. That's good. I don't like them holding up mana. What could they have? Let's look at their entire deck list, basically. Murderous Rider they could have, which means you want to hold up feet. Heartless Act, they've already used. Inscription they could have. Actually, Inscription's probably what they have since they're holding up 5 mana. So we think we want to just play around that. And just swing with the Virtuoso. This will prompt them to have to do it before damage is signed. And I think we just hold up shields and pass. Just cycling Andantha? Okay. Much less surprising than I thought it would be. And they just pass. Storm Carved Coast. Perfect draw. Now we have all the colors we want. We'll swing in with Virtuoso. Sure, damage happens. This is probably Inscription, like I said. But we can wait. They have to do something first, and then we can punish them. Although inscription will kill 10th district. Yep, that's what I thought. 2 counters. If we Feat of Resistance, give protection from green, it still becomes targeted, but then doesn't fight, which is a problem. So we're losing one of our creatures no matter what. This will be a 4/3. The question is, which one do we want more? I think we would rather have the Virtuoso. Feat of Protection. Discard Reckless Rage, I think. Since we have Deputy as a removal spell. Actually, Pyromancer I think we discard. Give Proc Green. Maybe we should have discarded the land even, because the first strike damage would have killed it, but I think having the counter is pretty good too. Winding Constrictor. Tireless Tracker. Let's kill this now. Discard land. And no land for them. Good for us. Swing for 6. They take it. And we can just pass, pretending to have shields up, and then end of turn we can just exile our Pyromancer to create some 2/2s, or 1/1s, sorry. 2 1/1s. This also helps us hold up Valorous Stance to have some protection. The Cruelty of Gix. Let's see what they get first. Reanimation. Reveal. Or Tutor. They go straight to the Reanimator. Going for what? They have Pyromancer, we can just exile in response, so that was a terrible play. That was just sad. I'm sorry, OP, but you messed up in your basic. And then now we just keep swinging in for 6. There's no rush. Just hold up our Valor Stance. They can craft the clue, but Virtuoso still wins the first strike battle. Because about toughness, right? Yeah, toughness. Sure, damage happens. Play a land, cast Favored Hoplite, and pass the turn. This helps us avoid Taste of Deaths, because now we have 3 things to sacrifice. They play a Sad Robot. Into Ranger class. Sure thing. Sure thing. Sulfur Falls. We'll keep that for Virtuoso purposes. Just keep swinging. Play it slow. No rush. If they draw stuff, we have removal spells. There's not much they can really do here. We've got plenty of cards, and we're not going to flood out because we are running 15 lands. Scoos. Now that is a problem card. Hey, my Arcanist. Well, we'll force your hand now, well, after you exile this card, by destroying it. Blow you up. And electrolyze. Let's see, that's deputy. Exile that. That'd be 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, no. So we'll just electrolyze the wolf. Draw fabled passage. Swing. Play fabled passage to hold up priority and pass. Cycle the triome. Let's see, what can you top deck, OP? What can they top deck? Taste of Death won't work. Murderous Rider would work. Dark Salvation would be very bad for us. Taste of Death doesn't work. Vivian doesn't work. Titan of Industry would be bad, but we can deal with it. A level of Ranger class, that's a good sign. Heartless Act, they already cast. Yeah, I think we have this game in the bag. Wolvenwald Oddity. Sure thing. It's gonna die. Or exile. Good game. Yes! That's 3 wins on the board. 1 more to go. I will see you all for round number 4 against the final boss. On the play against Master of Manascrew. I like the name. We'll just keep this hand. Missing red, but I'm sure we'll find that. Plus we got Battle-Wise, Hoplite, and Virtuoso. They play a Hard Evidence. Maybe meaning that they're a control deck of some sort. We'll play the Hoplite. Just because if we do find a red source, it helps it survives Reckless Rage. Ooh, they're the tokens deck that I was wanting to build. Man, every deck I wanted to see built I'm playing against was built. Pretty nice. Swing a 4-2. If they block with the crab, we'll 100% Defiant Strike. If not, we'll get down a Virtuoso. Tireless Tracker. Sure thing, buddy. We'll Defiant Strike the Hoplite. Maybe we find a red source out of this. Perfect, 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 perfect. This means that we can cast our Reckless Rage. And let's do it now before they can get a clue. And Deputy of Attention. Of course we'll keep you. You're a good card. Especially against a ramp deck like this. I just want to act like we have tricks. Although the hasters would be great to get out now, I think we'd rather just pretend that we have tricks. Play... I think we'll just play the favored Hoplite pass. No, we want to do what's optimal. Play Dorat. There's a Deluge. But we can still hold up priority and threaten a trick with Fabled Passage. And us not doing the optimal play also threatens them that we have something. Enter the God Eternals. Well, that sucks that we don't have anything. We could have blown them out pretty good. We'll crack this for a red source. Homestead Courage is a perfect draw. Deputy of Detention. Courage. Where were you last turn, slip out the back? But yeah, things are looking pretty darn good right now. Got slip out the back to protect our stuff if they have instant speed removal. Or some sort of trick. Coma. Yikes. Honestly, this is kind of fine. I think we might be able to kill them now. Let's see. Kill the coil. Well, let's just phase out Coma. This will basically prompt them to sacrifice the coil or lose its value. Then I think that means we just win. Yep, we don't even have to cast Rip Apart. Cast Homestead Courage. Trigger Heroic. And that is game. We got through a coma just in time. Okay, against a big spells ramp deck, how do you want to deal with this? Cathartic Pyre, surprisingly, is not what we want in this matchup. What do we want, though? Maybe a Cast Out or an Essence Scatter. I actually like Cast Out against the big stuff, but I think Essence Scatter is going to be better. And then we cut Teamer Battle Rage. Because they're playing back black, maybe they have some sort of removal. Let's run it like this. Okay, Master of Mana Screw, let's see if you can beat me 2 times in a row. Alright, Master of Mana Screw, let's see what you can do. Ugh, 1 land in hand, especially blue mana. This is better. And let's bottom Fabled Passage. We'll find a land off of EI. Or hopefully find a land off of EI. Well, now I'm disappointed I can't cast Stormchaser Drake, but I can hold up Rip Apart. Never mind, that is not a instant, but they don't have anything anyway. Play land, cast Virtuoso or Stormchaser. Let's go Virtuoso. Get more power on board as fast as possible. Let's Defiant Strike now. If they have a removal spell, that means that although we are shields down, Heartless Act. Discard Rip Apart. No need for it. Let's get our card advantage flowing. EI. Let's put Reckless Rage into hand. You in the bottom, and you into exile. Pass the turn. We just gotta remember when they get to 7 mana, we have to hold a Valorous Stance to kill Como before it can create a Serpent. 10th, a District. And then cast Stormchaser. Honestly, I've been not a big fan of Teamer Battle Rage, especially in the Explorer version of this set. just for the reason that it requires so much, like, so much work to get around, and there's also just Illumina Virtuoso that already has Double Strike as one of your best creatures. Let us recklessly rage. This also lets us hold up Vita resistance. And Electrolyze and Valorous Stance. Just hold up all the things. There's the Coma. Let's destroy it before they can get any value whatsoever out of it. And I just remembered it's uncounterable, so Essence Scatter wouldn't even done anything. Let's Electrolyze. Same amount of damage, except we get a +1/+1 counter against Scry. God's Willing I like to see. Sadly, we don't hold up Essence Scatter, but I think that's fine for one turn. I was wrong. I was very wrong. Cityscape Leveler. We can't even get protection from it, because it's colorless. Well, Seasoned Pyromancer, let's see what we can find. Those are some lands. Those are some pretty lands that don't do anything. Yeah, Essence Scatter was not the way. We can stop this, but Cityscape Lever is just gonna defeat us. Paradise Druid. We're just gonna keep attacking, destroying our stuff. There's not much we can do here. Slip out the back. We take all of the damage. We slip out the back the token just to make sure we have a bit more pressure. Go down to 4. Create some tokens. See what we draw. It's Dorat, the perfect pet. They have Essence Scatter. Okay, good game. I don't think that was lethal anyway. Let's see, that would be guaranteed 4 damage and then a bit more, but not enough. Okay, so Essence Scatter, I just realized is bad. So we need Cast Out instead. Cityscape Leveler is just a problem that we just have to kill them before they get there. So, let's kill them before they get there. Ready the deck. And Master of Mana Screw. Maybe you should live up to your name and not draw lands this time. Alright, final boss, final game. Let's see what we can do. This feels a little slow, but Elite Spellbinder is really good against what they do, so we'll keep. Get off with a Sundown Pass. Followed by Clifftop Retreat, Paradise Druid. Well, let's Elite Spellbinder. See what you're working with there. Dark Salvation, Enter the God Eternals. So that can just create a 2/2, kill my Spellbinder. I'm a big fan of that. Taste of Death, Enter the God Eternals. I think we can avoid Enter the God Eternals relatively easily. And we have a turn for that to set up with God's Willing and Electrolyze. Dark Salvation. Next turn just does it, so we'll take Dark Salvation. Makes it much harder to cast, much worse, too. Play a Tireless Tracker, and they play a land. We have perfect information for a second. Actually, instead of killing the Tireless Tracker, let's go for their mana. The less mana they have, the slower their things will be. This also means that it stalls their Enter the God Eternals for another turn. It makes sure that Dark Salvation doesn't do anything for another turn. Taste of Death another turn. They can just cast either Memory Deluge or Crack a few clues. If they crack the clues, we can just Bolt or Valor Stance it. Cast Dorat into a Bolt, since Valor Stance can hit bigger things and it's at instant speed, also with more options. So just Valor Stance is just better than Bolt in this situation. Swing. Fading Hope. We sadly have to let this resolve, because we need to be able to stop the Enter the God Eternals next turn. And they can basically guarantee a land with their Scry plus a draw. So we just have to hold this up. Dark Salvation. Interesting. You know what? We need to keep the pressure. We need to just stop this. Scry away a land. And they create a 2/2. Target player, I see. For a second I thought that they would have not created the 2/2 as well. Play Dorat. Play Arcanist. Swing. Right now we can cast God's Willing from Graveyard, but that is it. Hopefully no land? Dang it, they have land. Taste of Death. Yeah, this might be the end of it. I was really hoping that they just wouldn't draw land for Taste of Death. Because we could have protected against Enter the God Eternals. But now they gain 9 life, wipe the board. Yeah, this game just seems a lot more impossible now. You know what I think the best strategy is? To have a transforming sideboard where basically you just have a snip, and then if your opponent tries to sideboard against like an aggro deck, you turn into a control deck and then basically whip them with just big dumb creatures while they're prepared for like a fast game. Cast out, we will cycle you. Feather, that's the one card that could probably get us out of this. Cast Feather the Redeemed. But they have airtime. Of course they do. Of course. Okay, what other cards can get us out of this mess? Illuminator Virtuoso into just a bunch of spells. We haven't cast Defiant Strike, right? Seasoned Pyromancer. It's a good start. Defiant Strike. Not helpful yet. Let's just hope Coma is like their last... Never mind, Memory Deluge is going to make sure that that's not true. They're basically just gonna find Coma right here. And then from there they win. Feat of Resistance, good start. I'm surprised you're still not casting Enter the God Eternals just yet. Defiant Strike. Cantrip Combat Trick. Yeah, sadly I need to play this out, otherwise we lose our cool reward possibility. Aether Channeler. I don't think a bird's worth anything right now, so we'll just draw a card. 10th District Legionnaire. I think we took out Temur Battle Rage, right? No, looks like Temur Battle Rage is still in the deck. Which means we have a chance at a win, if we are lucky enough. But now they have pressure with a Cyclone Shark Typhoon. That's a lot of pressure. Coma. And that should wrap things up. Good game, opponent. Once the taste of death hit the field or the stack, I knew it was over. But there was a chance. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video so far. If you did, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. It means a lot. And I will see you all next time. Let me claim my prize. Neat little things. And I will see you all next time. Have a great day.